Hello traders, welcome to this new video. So this video will be longer than the usual ones I do, so I highly recommend you guys to just grab a glass of water, a coffee, relax, and just stay with me until the end, because this will be a big one in my opinion for anyone that loves, like me, process, talking about data gathering, developing strategies, all that stuff. It will be covered in this video. So hope you guys like it, and let's go. So M15 strategy, why I think and the reasons why I start being interested in this approach. So I personally think that M1 can be quite a struggle for a lot of you. The reason why, and you probably found that some of you can be very easily overwhelmed with M1 price action. Price action happens very fast. A lot of the times you over refine things and end up with a no tag. So you have the correct direction. Your forecast plays out exactly to the T, but you do not capitalize, okay? And that's the most important. So there's a lot of variables on M1 as well. It can lead to confusion, or you can simply just can't handle M1 with because of other life commitments, okay? You may have a 9-to-5 job, a family, other things on the side. M1 is difficult, period, okay? That these are just reasons, in my opinion, that M1 can be difficult, right? So M15 can be a solution. The reasons why I personally switch from M1, and I was even using the 5 seconds to refine the entries. I was trading M1, so I'm not a seconds trader. I was using 5S just to refine the entries. But the reason why I switched probably, I don't know, almost 6 months ago, was because, of course, everything I said is much more overwhelmed than M1. The correction, the price action is very fast. A lot of the times you have the direction correct, all that stuff. But I personally, honestly think that M15 is much more scalable. So we don't trade with 2 pips stop loss, which 2 pips stop loss can be very good. Okay, nothing wrong with that. You can have huge risk reward. But in my opinion, if you are aiming to make a career in trading, and eventually you will be trading large figures, large funds, and M1 with 2 pips stop loss doesn't mean, in my opinion, doesn't bring me confidence, and I don't think it's very scalable, to be honest. 2 pips stop loss, because of you can easily get taken out, and with slippage, risk reward can be skewed, so it's a mess. Other thing is commissions, okay? With the lot size being so big, commissions are there, so start to add up. In the end of the year, you pay a lot of commissions. You are a little bit, you are more concerned about spreads, because if you trade with 2 pips stop loss, spreads can be almost, I don't know, half of your stop loss size. So spreads is something to consider. Of course, session timing is something that I struggle when trading M1, and let me explain why. Because a lot of the times I have the forecast to the T and it work out, but the entry happened, for example, 45 minutes after 10 GMT, okay? I'm talking about UK time, and that's London Blue. I don't trade London Blue, and that can mess up with your psychology, because that can be the trade of the week. You have the direction correct, but you could not execute because it's outside session. That's annoying, okay? That's not something that I like. So all those things start creating some interest in to myself about an M15. So I started getting interested in M15 6 months ago. I started testing a lot, and so that for me is the main problems on M1. And I have to say another one, that M1 is very difficult to diversify. And if for example, you already noticed this, majority of you, if you trade euro-dollar, for example, one entire year, that will be a quarter that probably very slow, because it's sideways price action. It's just the nature, okay? Nature of price. Sometimes it's impulsive, corrective, sideways, whatever. and there are periods that your strategy don't develop as well, but because you trade M1, majority of you just trade one pair, and that won't give you diversification. So during 3 months you won't make money, or during 1 month or whatever. You are strict to that price action, okay? And that's also something that's not very scalable for me. So again, M15 is the solution. So what you guys can achieve with the M15, and that's something you need to ask yourself. And you can achieve consistency much faster. You simplify your trading. It's a scalable approach. A lot of you have jobs, family, other life commitments. So this is a much more hands-off approach, easier to combine, okay, with all that stuff. Of course, like I said, because you have a bigger stop loss and the price action is much slower, it's much more stress-free, okay? So those reasons, in my opinion, is something that M15 can be much more beneficial. So yeah, by saying that, I honestly think that you should start being interesting on M15, and you can do just by on top of the M15 trading plan video I made, develop your own. So you can use that as a starting point, and you can use my style as a starting point. Again, use as a starting point to then develop your own, okay? This is very important, but just take advantage of that. If you want in the future, of course, after finding consistency, you can then dive deep into the lower time frames, such as M1 approach. Of course, you can do other stuff, such as adding a new pair to your M15 strategy, or even go higher to H1, H4 strategy you could develop yourself. I highly recommend you start with the M15 trading plan that I use, because I know, and I will show you, it works. I have everything that proves it works. And yeah, it's better to start something that you know it works. It will save you a lot of time, okay? So after talking about all that stuff, I think we can go straight to the point and showing all my data, everything I did to develop the strategy, and so I start, just to make reference, I was trading EU probably for 1 year or something like that, a little bit more maybe. And after that, I switched to DAX. The reason why was commissions. And of course, I didn't like the fact that everyone was trading EU, and everyone on Instagram, social media was putting MT4 screenshots everywhere. And I just want to be trading for myself and don't want to get influenced. I don't want to know anything about any other trader, to be honest. Trading is a lonely game, so I just, okay, let's move to DAX, and don't even bother looking at anything else, because it's just me trading at this point. I didn't know anyone that was trading DAX before. I was already using a strategy that works on EU, so basically it's just to replicate the same, but on DAX. In the end of the day, supply and demand works on all pairs. You just need to find a little bit, you just need to tweak a little things, but in the end of the day, it works on majority of the pairs. So I went to DAX and I want to show you all the data. So DAX, okay. I test a lot of things. The reason why you guys see me trading 5R at the moment, because it's not because I like 5R, okay? I test 5R, 7R, 10R, 15R, TP2, so it's like technical targets. I even test 3R, not on this DAX, but I will show you then on GU and EU. So the reason why we show you 5R is because we have data to show us that it works better than the others, okay? So 5R is what I test. Of course, I test everything, days of the week, high time frame confluence, liquidity models. This is the moment I was developing these ones. And of course, just ignore these names, okay? As a team, we come to the conclusion that it's better to have the same names on the liquidity models. So for the sake of this video, of course, I was using them back then, but it's the same as liquidity model in number 2, okay? And the median time frame inducement is number 1. So yeah, just ignore the names, okay? But this is the moment where things were was working on this. So, and you can guys see, for example, on the liquidity models, if I ignore everything in terms of liquidity models, you can see that I have a lot of losses, 14 losses, not 14 losses, but for the 14 trades I completely ignore, end up with 0% sum, just because I have 1 to 10, okay? I have a lot of losses, like probably 10 losses or more, just by ignoring. What this can show me is that the liquidity models that I'm using and you guys are watching and learning, it works, okay? So in Photon, we just show you things that are proven that it works. It's not something that you see online and just tweak and say that's a new source, but it isn't. So this everything based on data, it works. And then you can see, for example, let me show you how many trades I took. In this one, I think it was, in this specific spreadsheet, I think it was 92. Yeah, 92. But for example, on this win, you can see everything. So let me see here, this one. Liquidity models or liquidity entry model number 2, which is the equals, and empty median time frame inducement is liquidity model entry 1 at this moment in time. I tested 5R, 7R, 10R, sorry, yeah, 10R. At this moment in time, I was using the seconds, okay, because you can see the 5 seconds here, but the strategy is the same, and this is something I want to show you guys. This strategy works on M15, M1, 5 seconds, H1, H4, daily, okay? It's something that works. I want you guys to really understand that. So this is the DAX, okay? So now going to the backtesting project on GU and EU. So I was trading M1 and then start getting interested on M15, so developed the M15 strategy. Phase 1, I backtest 12 to 18 months, which equals 100 trades. I analyze the data, I refine it, and I go to phase 2. At phase 2, I backtest again, 12 to 18 months, 100 trades plus minus 100 trades. I analyze the data and I refine it, okay? And after that, I went to phase 3. At this stage, for me, these 2 phases, and it's the first one, this is something very important that I want you guys to know. These 2 phases are literally the time where visual representation of setups are crucial, are very, very important. I can see a lot of you guys jumping to FX replay straight away, which is nice because it's a nice simulation, but focusing too much on stats. And in my opinion, in the first stages, you are developing a strategy from scratch or almost from scratch. You want to see visual representations of the strategy, okay? You want to see your setups, what works, what doesn't, not only the strike rate, win rate, all that stuff. You want to see how price action was formed in a winning setup and how it's formed in a losing setup. You want to see everything, okay? So visual representation on these 2 phases are much more important than stats, okay? And then on phase 3, I backtest 3 years of data with a refined trade plan made by phase 1 and phase 2, and I collect the real statistics, okay? At this point on phase 3 is like statistics only. I'm not looking as visual representation at this point. I'm just looking to statistics, okay? I know the strategy I'm looking for, okay? I know what a winning setup looks like. I know what a losing, I know everything about my strategy. So now I just want to use the strategy and apply the strategy over years and years of data. And then I want to see the statistics, okay? But I will show you in a minute everything. So phase 1, I backtest GU all this time. So GU, this is phase 1, okay? Distal 25, EQ, hourly POI confluence. I even test the M15 entry, if it has inducement or not. corrective phase, impulsive phase. I want to just, phase 1 is just impulsive phase. Phase 2 is corrective phase. Very simple. Liquidity models, again, forget about the names. This is the developing stage. We didn't have that same names, so just ignore the names at this point. I even test, like I said, 3R, okay? And so let's go and dive a little bit deeper inside. You can see 100 trades. So, okay, so characteristics. This was based on 25%. I have all the wins. I have the break-evens and losses, the entry models, okay? I have all the stats, 25%, EQ. I have the takeaways, okay? After refinements, this is not something I did because I did the phase 2. So the phase 2 is not here, is on the other page. I have entry model number 2, again. Statistics, I have statistics for distal, 25, EQ, so okay. Something that I think is very important, and you of course will see in a few slides, right, in a few minutes. But the max DD duration in the entire year and a half. So I have everything, okay? Because I know that this will give me confidence, and having confidence is key. So the extra is something like, I took these longer charts. Okay, this was liquidity models and PBL. So like I said, ignore these ones, the names, but essentially they are the same, but with the different names. But like I said, this was during the developing stage. Now we have different names. M15 inducement, entry inducement. So this is something that I was trying to, and this I do this every single time. I try to develop my strategy as much as I can. And I was trying to see if using M15 as my entry time frame, okay, if having entry inducement will benefit me. And the answer is no. So this was like a fail testing, because after testing I knew that, okay, that should not be a rule, because if the entry inducement was really important, then I would add as an entry criteria, okay? These things you need to test and see by yourself. So I have confidence that this entry inducement is not something very relevant, because I have 20 winners with not entry inducement, okay? This is the corrective phase, impulsive phase. A lot of my trades go from in the corrective phase. Like when price is completely tanking and melting, it's difficult to get involved. And then on the corrective phase with the big swings, it's easier for me, okay? Item frame POI confluence, and this is very important. Okay, guys, this is very important because you need to know what confluence works better for you, okay? And I can see that for me, the best one in this case is liquidity grab with this inducement, which is item frame inducement, okay? Chain, a lot of you guys trade chain. I don't, because like you can see, -1, okay? And this known is when there is anything, or it's just like a simple chalk, something like that. And I don't have any confluence because it's just a simple chalk. Just ignore this one, okay? Timing, okay? And this is something I have to come up with the rules, okay? Because from what time to what time in the day I'll be trading, I don't know. And when I start developing the strategy, so I need to find rules. How I find rules? With the collecting data. Simple as that. I found through, after, of course, I analyze all the data in terms of time of the day, okay? I go here and I see the time of the day, and then I come up, I found that after 5 p.m. UK time GMT, okay, I have -4, and between 4 to 5 p.m. I have 8%, okay? So this was the initial thought that, okay, so maybe after 5 p.m. I won't be trading, okay? And that started giving me a little bit more of clarity in terms of hours, okay? Of course, I then have the phase 2 and even more, but this was the starting point. On average, my trades last 6 hours, okay? It's important to know for me. Stop loss, I can see average stop loss is 12 pips on 25%. This is for me is perfect because it's scalable, okay? is usually more 10 pips than M1. That gives me a lot of confidence because slippage, of course, it will be there. 12 pips stop loss is still small, guys. I know a lot of you come into SMC, you trade for 1-2 years and you are used to see 2 pips stop loss. But I'm from the days where 50 pips stop loss was normal. I only considered too much when it was 100 pips the stop loss. So 12 pips for me is very small. So 3R is something that I was testing to see if it works. You can see that the distal was better, but 80%, but on the statistics with a 25% 5R, I have much more, okay, 113. So doesn't worth for me going to 3R. Okay, so each day results, okay, that's something here is not very important because the sample size is not big. So this was phase 1. So I started developing the strategy from here, okay? Then I went to phase 2. Again, I don't want to be very long on this, but you can see it's everything the same. I test the same. M15 inducement. I think I even tested something more, which was liquidity to target. Yeah. Again, I thought, okay, how can I improve the strategy? I'm always thinking about that. Probably you guys already noticed, but how can I improve the strategy? So I start with testing M15 entry inducement. Okay, it was a failed test, because not a failed test, but I actually knew it was not relevant. And then I want to test liquidity to target. Let me see if this can be a new rule to apply to the entry criteria. Of course, this I don't want to repeat myself, it's the same. So let's go to the data again. Of course, the same, right? Characteristics, win-loss break-evens, entry model number 1, I have everything again, okay? The strike rate on entry model number 1 is much bigger than entry model number 2. And entry model number 1 is the flip not swap liquidity, and this entry model number 2, only 44% strike rate, is the extreme, okay? Statistics, everything again. Max, this is very important. Not this one, is this one. Max drawdown, 51 days, okay? And max drawdown was 4 losses in a row with 3 consecutive losses multiple times. So I know my data. I hope you guys already noticed that. I'm confident when I'm teaching you guys this stuff. Extras, okay, again, position, liquidity models and PBL, something like I said, just ignore the names, but this was during the developing stage. And I try to refine, okay, phase 1, and then I look for the winners, losses, break-evens, and I try to refine each of them to improve. And M15 entry inducement, again, and phase, item frame PO confluence, chain, because I just delete chain, okay? I noticed it was already not working for me since DAX days, and I just stopped using that chain. Timing, okay, very important. Between 4 p.m. and 5 p.m. this time I had 3%, so it's not the best time, but still profitable. But after 5, I won't trade, okay? You can see that I still have a few losses. Price actions start to be a little bit slow, but still worth it. Of course, if it's like a very valid low probability setup, I won't take it, but still valid, okay? Anyways, so 3R, P&L, not as good as 5R, but of course the strike rate is very big, 51%. It's very good. Average trades per month, I average 5 trades per month, okay, 5.4, but of course it's 5 in one pair, which is nice. Trades, okay, this is the number of trades. Results, average, okay, the winner usually around 10 hours, break even 7, losses 0.7 hours. So is less than 1 hour, okay? What I'm trying to say is that my losses happen very quick, which is good. So the pain happens straight away. I personally don't like being in a trades in big drawdown, for long periods of time. I prefer to just get taken out. Okay, that's something for me. About my strategy is not as important for you, but important of liquidity to target is very important. So I can see that liquidity to target as Confluence gave me 77%. Liquidity to target not as Confluence give me 32. So here is a little bit difficult to create a rule because this is still a lot of percentage, even though I can see that having liquidity to target increases massively the probability of the trade. I can't create a rule, or at least at this moment in time, I didn't create a rule yet because I still want to trade and take this 32. So yeah, at this point in time, I didn't find any rule for that. Yeah, it is what it is. Average stop loss is here, 12 pips, so probably the same, and each day results. Okay, so phase 3. This is very, very important, and I'm going to talk now about this stage.